And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and everyone in between. This is Coffee with Lavender live and direct from UPMC McKeesport. Oh, let me do something about my echo
Mhm.
over here.
Oh, I actually wasn't hearing any echo on this end. Is it going off onto the stream or what?
Oh, I'm using my laptop, so that yeah, coming from my laptop, it might be a little different.
Hmm. I wonder if anyone in the audience can hear it because I absolutely can't.
There we go. So yeah, I was getting a hell of an echo, but
Hmm.
maybe the rest of you were spared the inconvenience.
Perhaps.
But here we have with me here is the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful, bionic dance, Kate Farr. Hello, my love. How are you today?
Warm, believe it or not. Yesterday and the day before here in Vermont, it got as low as negative 12 Fahrenheit. I was not
Hey,
happy.
Oh
And at this
my.
point, my building is not as up to date as it ought to be. So it was kind of cold in here because the boilers couldn't handle the demand, right? And
Oh my.
they've been putting off replacing them apparently for a while, but they're finally going to hop to for next winter. Let's see. Yeah. Also, smoking up, and I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot going on at the moment. Playing a lot of Beat Saber. I want to get my ass back into shape. Not that I'm like not, but you know how it is when you've been sitting on your butt for a while. You're not actually like fat, but you need to get your muscles back in tone.
Yep.
Yeah, like that. I mean, life has been life lately. I'm trying to like get up to speed with the latest version of 3ds Max. Yes, I can finally afford the update from 2013. You know, so
Oh my. Now, is this the one you have to rent?
yeah, but it turns out that they've put out an El Cheapo version for like how I think it's the Unity game engine, might be Unreal, I forget what one of them is like, look, you can use this absolutely for free as long as you make less than $10,000 off of whatever you put out there. Right now, 3ds Max is not exactly the same, but they said, look, if you're a home user or like a school user or something, you can have it for I think it was 200 something, maybe 300 something a year, which is much better than the like 3,000 they wanted. You know, so
jeez.
yeah,
I don't know. They
but
think
in 10 years they've changed it so much that getting up to speed is a little hard.
what gets me though is with the artsy stuff, especially, but other stuffs too. They think that just because you're in business using this, that you've got thousands of dollars to hand them. When especially if you're an artist sort of person, that's thousands of dollars is the last thing you've got.
Well, the truth is that there are free 3D engines out there, some of them quite good, apparently. I tried learning Blender for a bit, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is very different. And I'm starting from square one and I don't like it. So I decided, hey, it's worth it to get the 3ds Max 2023 and just learn the new renderers because apparently Mental Ray isn't available anymore, God damn it, and hasn't been since 2017.
Oops.
Mental Ray was like the only thing I would change about Mental Ray is that it could not handle the particle age map, which I kind of needed and had to find ways around it, not having it. The main thing is things like explosions and fires. If you have a bunch of particles representing those, you need it to change from like fire to smoke. And the only way
Hmm.
to do that is with the particle age map, unless you have like, fume effects or something, which is a completely expensive as hell plug-in. Never mind, not the point. The point is that what mental array would do is, yeah, the particle age would work for the particles that were released first. After that, the map would cycle. So like the later particles would turn to fire again before they disappeared. And so like it could only do the particle age from the first particles released, and it was frustrating. Like you've seen Quinn Redshift. Every explosion I did used the particle age map, and I had to find a way to make it look even slightly realistic, even for a cartoon, without like having particles of multiple ages. It was frustrating, but I made it work, I think, you know. Anyway, point being, that's the only thing I would have changed about Mental Ray. Really, really, really fucking liked it.
Oh my! I'm actually learning how to do the lighting here. It's not quite there, but it's getting there.
Well,
Oh my! And then also with us, not only do we have Kate, but we have the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Mage Grey Wolf. Hello, my love. How are you?
I didn't do it. If you think I did, I didn't.
It's still difficult for me to read the comments left by our wonderful audience participators, but we're getting there.
We got Greg Hartwick and Mr. Shadow Kitty.
Oh my! So okay, there we go. Yeah, who do we have here? We have Greg says business Twitter wants 1,000 a month for a check mark. What the hell?
Screw that.
I guarantee you, it's not worth it.
it's funny. I was arguing with someone like 2-3 days ago, and they had like 200 followers and a blue check, and I was like, wow, small dick energy, dude.
Jesus, man. I mean, given the way Twitter is, I don't even want a check mark.
Really?
Because, I mean, well, there's the thing. If you can buy it, what's it worth? Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, the only thing it means is I'm a bit of a schmuck with too much disposable cash.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you've got to prove one way or another that you deserve this check mark, and I know that sounds bad, but you know that you're worth enough to make it mean something, then yeah, okay, you're fine. But if you happen to have an extra $1,000 and you say I want a check mark and you get one, then no.
Well, I mean, check marks used to be kind of like, you know, a gold record album thing, you know, where it's like your album has gone gold because that many people bought it. That's
Yeah,
what blue check used to mean. You know, it's kind of like how apparently YouTube, when you hit like a certain thousands of subscribers, I think it's like 100,000 subscribers, they send you a plaque.
yeah.
You know, it's that kind of thing. But now it's just I'm willing to subscribe to Blue Checkery.
Hmm.
I don't know, that makes sense.
Well, it's just a cash pipeline to him, I guess. And what really saddens me is that there are that many people willing to do it. I mean, if you've got $1,000 that you don't know how to spend, send it to me.
Yeah, really?
Because I'm already getting love notes from bill collectors.
Mm. Yeah, I gotta be honest, knowing you as I do, I'm surprised you did not use the words dunning notices.
Who, what, where, when?
Dunning. You know what dunning means, to dun someone for cash, for a debt, whatever.
There you go.
I'm surprised that you didn't call them dunning notices instead of love notes.
There you are.
You
Yeah.
know, that's the sort of thing you'd say. You know it is.
I guess I'm a little slow on the uptake today.
Today.
Of
Come on, you knew that was coming.
course I did. I counted on it. What was amazing to me, though, is that these people actually did a chest x ray on me today. I mean, given that it's Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And you get the results in a couple hours now.
I don't
Maybe.
know. I hope so. And I hope it's good results. Did I already talk about this on air? I'm not sure.
No.
No, I know. I'm not even sure. Like, you might have mentioned it to Mage, but not when I joined.
No, we were talking about it backstage. Before this
Okay.
started.
Yeah, because I came in here because I was all short of breath and everything, and I guess that's why they're doing the chest X-ray and all this other shit. And it would be just my luck that 4.5 years after I quit smoking is when the cancer decides to show up.
Yeah, that would be ironic. Maybe it's just emphysema.
Oh my! It's just
But, well, look at it this way. It's better to have shortness of breath than sharpness of breath.
yeah, that too.
Just saying. Also, this is me telling you people I'm a complete child without telling you I'm a complete child.
Well, I've been trying to get the writing AI to tell dad jokes.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I never. Wow. Okay. Because I told some writing AI to make like sci-fi stories, and some of them weren't that bad, although it was clearly like drawn from Star Wars. But dad jokes—that's a good idea.
Oh, look at that! Cutting the top of my head off. Oh, there we go. Now we've got the whole head.
Oh, are they doing that?
Oh, that's me moving the laptop around.
No. I meant, are they cutting off the top of your head?
Well, it's probably about time that be done.
But actually, the truth is, your head is centered in the frame right now, at least on my end. No,
Yeah,
I mean vertically centered.
Yeah, there we
On a
go.
negative space above your head is what I'm saying.
There
we'll,
you go.
we'll cut your head off. I'll stick your brain in a jar, hook it up to some electrodes, a little speaker, and every so often, and we'll just hear it say, "Please, please let me die."
Oh, they've heard that more than enough.
But anyway,
Well, that amazes the hell out of me, though. Now that you do mention it, when the people who are supposed to be looking after your health care so little about you that they insist that you remain alive to suffer excruciating pain.
well, you are a mystery to be solved, aren't you? Either that, or I've been watching way the hell too much House.
Okay.
I do love that show, but still,
I don't know. That may be one reason to regret not owning a television or having a television or whatever you want to call it. Uh, but
you realize I'm watching it on Amazon Prime Video. I'm streaming it,
Yeah.
right?
I still gotta get around to binging that. I've only caught episodes here and there.
Well, it's excuse me. Wow, that is a powerful strain. No, it's worth binging, but There are some episodes where now I just skip them because they're either frustrating or they cause anxiety or something. There's a few where it's just like, oh, but like one of the things I cannot take in fiction is humor that comes from people being humiliated, unless they're really bad people, you know?
Mm.
I love Perfect Strangers, but whenever Cousin Larry would get in trouble, it was because he basically had Dunning Kruger. He would say, "Oh, Balky, I know everything about this," and he'd constantly screw it up. And the whole episode would be him trying to, redeem his mistake without having to admit he made a mistake. And after a while, I'm just like, this is so frustrating. Maybe I'm empathizing too much, but I can't keep watching someone humiliating themselves over and over when it's the protagonist. I can't do it.
Okay.
That's why I can't watch The Office.
Hmm. One of the shows I've been watching recently was the new 2022 new Quantum Leap.
Hmm.
It's actually pretty good. It's actually not a reboot. It's a continuation of the show with
Well, that's
Is
it's sort of like a Quantum Leap the next generation.
is Scott Bakula still doing it, or?
No, it's a new guy, a Ben Song, I think his name is.
well, he's
Oh, okay,
definitely
okay.
shown up to pass the torch.
He might show up in a later episode. Who knows?
Hmm. I actually last night just found this sitcom called The Middle, and it's demented in just the right way. And the guy playing the dad is the janitor from Scrubs, which is great. It's kind of like Malcolm in the Middle, only less mayhem.
But you talk about seeing things you haven't seen in a while and shit like that. I was actually watching on the room television, WQED, the PBS station from around here. And
Yeah, QED, I like it.
say again, huh?
I said QED, I like it. WQED, that's great.
There you go.
You know what QED is? It's like quad era demonstratum or something. It's like thus I've demonstrated it. So well, hold on, let me look it up.
Yeah, Chorus.
Quad era demonstratum.
There it is.
Which
Erad.
is to be demonstrated. QED may appear at the conclusion of a text to signify that the author's overall argument has just been, well, they say proven, but it's proved. Yeah, so that, WQED for a PBS station is fucking awesome. Anyway,
Mhm.
what are you watching?
But there was something called Masterpiece, which
Not
I'm
much.
guessing that it's an extension or something of Masterpiece Theater,
Oh,
but it's on this particular episode was Hugh Laurie.
oh, well, he's awesome. I love him. Actually, I mean, he's great in House. He's great in Blackadder, and I can't decide which is my favorite.
Okay, then, but yeah, it was unfortunately one episode of multiple. So
Mm.
I get to see just the opening act.
My parents used to plunk my young Star Wars loving ass in front of Masterpiece Theater, and I hated every second of it.
Hmm.
Like, seriously, to this day, and I don't even know what piece of music it is. I'm sure it's something famous, but the theme song will send me into like anger spasms. I fucking hate it.
Oh, I understand that.
I don't know what fucking song that is, but it makes me so angry.
I get
I think it's one of the numbers from Handel's Water Music. I think.
yeah,
Maybe.
I get that with you if you're happy and you know it. Since I was actually when I was in preschool, a or actually I was in preschool. No, not even preschool. It was a daycare, and it was a Catholic daycare. So and they always started the damn church thing with "You happy and you know it."
Oh, geez, yeah, okay.
I mean, I remember there was this one camp, this summer camp I went to called Camp Greylock, and there was a song for the camp itself, and it was really short, but it was like the song that never ends. You just stop singing it when you're sick and tired of singing the same thing over and over. You know, it's like, we're from Greylock, mighty, mighty Greylock. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them, we're from Grey, continue ad nauseum until people are sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Which usually doesn't take that long.
you'd be surprised. Remember, this was a camp, like, I'm not even sure my age was in the double digits yet. And there was this one kid who, like, he came from a military family and he loved the sort of march feel to it, like,
Oh yeah.
and so he would insist on that song. Whenever someone was like, anyone want to sing a song? What do you want to say? And, there was always like,
Oh, a little bit this, a little
yeah,
bit that. Good for me, good for you. And look at that. It's food.
It's food.
Oh,
You got
Food.
your lunch.
Food and stuff.
this is what's really great about when you're in hospital. Everything's on a schedule.
It's the definitive hospital.
Thank you. You be good and have fun.
Oh, I try.
Oh man.
But there was another one, and I might have mentioned this like a year or three ago, but like this was, I think, in middle school. I don't think they made us do it in high school. It was called like Lemmy Sticks or something. I know that's not it. I looked it up a little while ago, and it was something like Lormy or Lomi or something. But it's still, I remember them calling it Lemmy Sticks. And what it was is you had these two like dark dowels that could fit, like just about in a closed fist, and you would tap them in this pattern and toss them to the person across from you, and then keep tapping them. And it came with this song. Now, again, my memory was a little faulty. When I looked it up, it was a little different, but it went to like Maka way, Koteo way, Kuitana, Maka way, Koteo way, Kuitana, and continue ad nauseum, right? And
Oh yeah, I wrote that song.
it was just, I think it's like from the Philippines or somewhere in that area, that's like what's the word I'm looking for here? Not the Caribbean. What the hell am I thinking of here? It's it sort of not quite Asian islands, but the people there sort of almost read Asian, have Asian energy. You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the Micronesian islands or something?
Well, either those or something in that region. I don't know. I don't know. It had that tropical island feel to it. It could even have been Hawaii for all I know, but it was just that sort of culture. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
Like maybe Eurasia is what I'm looking for. But regardless, it was like from one of those places. That was its origin, and they made us do it in middle school, and that song will live in my head forever.
Kind of like this day camp I went to. We had during breakfast they always did announcements, so they had everybody sing announcements, announcements. What a horrible way to die! What a
Oh,
horrible way to die! What a horrible way to start the day! Announcements.
I had something
Okay.
like that at a different camp. We had slightly different lyrics, and it was much, much faster. It was like announcements, announcements, announcements. A terrible death to die, a terrible death to die, a terrible death to be bored to death, a terrible death to die.
Yeah,
Announcements, like that.
similar thing.
Yeah, it was similar but different. It's kind of like the Great Green Globs of Greasy Grimy Gopher Guts song.
Oh God, I haven't heard that in a week.
Every place I've ever been has its own version of like what comes after that. Like the lyrics are all completely different everywhere you go. It's crazy.
God, it's been decades since I've heard that, and you had to remind me.
Oh, I mean, and let's remember, number one, my memory is really weird because my long-term memory is pretty good even after everything that's happened to my head meets. But number two, I'm also a complete child. I keep telling people this, and I'm not sure they believe me. Okay, those kinds of weird little campy songs are jammed in my head meets and will never leave.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh God, what the hell was it? I cannot remember, unfortunately, what had been going through my head all of yesterday, but that was one of those annoying things.
Yeah. And of course, commercial jingles and video game music. Oh my gosh. The music from the NES game 3D World Runner lives in my head like rent free. You have no idea. Fortunately, I like the music to the Daytona Beach setting of Super Spike V Ball. I even have an MP3 of it. So it's okay when that one gets stuck in my head, but holy shit, 3D World Runner, no.
Oh my.
Anyway, I'm done. I can usually replace it with Waka Waka. That's a good one.
Oh my. Now you say Waka Waka, and
No, Waka Laka with an L on the second one.
okay. Because, yeah, what happened was Pac-Man immediately appeared in my brain cells.
Mm. Oh, well, yeah. Although, honestly, if someone said Waka Waka, I'd probably go Fuzzy Bear
Okay.
before
Everything's
I,
good. Thank you.
yeah. Like before Pac-Man, but if someone said no, it's not Fuzzy, I'd go, well, okay, there's only one choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Although actually there was okay, fairly obscure author, at least as far as I can tell. I'm one of the 2 or 3 people who's ever heard of Daniel Pinkwater, and he wrote a book called Alan Mendelsohn, The Boy from Mars. And they went to a planet in another dimension called Waka Waka.
Okay.
So, if anyone out there has heard of Daniel Pinkwater, please tell me I'm not alone. I mean, like, seriously, there are a bunch of authors where I'm like, or movies, I'm like, no one else has seen this. Just me. How can that possibly be? Someone somewhere saw this or read that. Has to be. But I've never found them. It's weird.
Oh my.
I can't find any William Sleater fans either. Child author who was like, a lot of sci-fi and staple of my childhood. If I hadn't found his books and a few other authors, like I said, I think school would have beat the love of reading out of me, right?
Yeah.
It's like I found books I wanted to read and I was assigned books I hated, and that was that. And William Slater was one of the people who saved my joy of reading. He is tragically dead now.
Oh,
Mm.
that's the unfortunate thing is people have to die.
Yeah, well,
Don't
I,
worry, we'll keep you around for as long as we can.
yeah, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I was about to add that last little thing there.
Mm. Wow. I
Mm.
So I was at the dispensary earlier today, to get this. And
Mm-hmm.
like I was wearing that leather jacket I have that has a picture of death on it from the Sandman comics.
Okay.
And she said, like, is that supposed to be you? And I was like, whoa, I'm flattered by that, but no. It's weird because very rarely do I get told I look like somebody, famous. But apparently, well, I look like death, and not that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much death warmed over as death read in graphic novel form, but yeah, you know.
I told you I had a bit of a goth punk thing going with that image.
That's true, yeah, and that leather jacket was given to me by somebody in the Seagoth community, so
Okay.
it was weird. She walked up to me and said, I don't need this anymore, and I think it fits you best, like just in terms of vibe. And I was like, okay, sure, thank you. And I've been wearing it ever since. It's a very nice jacket.
Yeah, well, just about anything to be worn looks good while you're wearing it, so.
Well, I think there's clothing that makes me and frankly a lot of people look ridiculous. Like seriously, there's clothing where it just I look weird in it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stick to what I'm comfy with. Formal clothing, I think I look ridiculous in formal clothing.
Okay, now I don't think I've ever seen you in formal clothing, have I?
And you won't if I have anything to say about it.
Hmm.
But
No, I
no,
mean, I would try as much as I could to be non-biased in my assessment.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering whose assessment matters more, my own or that of other people. Because I've had people tell me things about myself where I that were positive, where I always felt that the negative was true, and
Okay.
I'm never sure how to take that. Like which one matters more? Because if I look at myself in the mirror and say I'd rather be wearing something a little more, I don't know, a little more punk, a little more street, a little more casual,
Mhm.
but other people are going, oh my god, you're gorgeous. Well, which one matters more, really?
Well, I guess I would have to say that matters as in um
Which one should I listen to, care about,
yeah,
etc.? Yeah.
and I think you're the one who should do that because I've been through that sort of thing where people tell me how great I am, and it's like, what are you
Wait, what?
talking about?
Well, I don't know. It. These are thoughts that go through my head from time to time. It's just a thing.
I mean, Strike and I used to go back and forth about that one. He issued the compliments and everything. It's like, what the hell is up with you, man?
Well, I've started a little bit to embrace my autistic nature and just speak my mind on things like that. Like if I'm in a conversation and I know it's supposed to be over and no one really knows how to do it gracefully, I'll just say it. I'm like, look, it's clear we're done. I don't know how to end this gracefully, so have fun, like that. And people seem to appreciate it. So just speaking my mind like that when it's a situation that is kind of awkward, you know,
Mhm.
like, someone gives me a compliment. I'm learning to just say thank you, but that always feels inadequate or insincere. Like it feels like I ought to say more like thank you, I appreciate fill in the blank or say, it's like really hard. It's kind of like I've never liked telling someone whose loved one has just died, I'm sorry, because it sounds, well, number one, it sounds like I'm apologizing. And even if I ignore that part, maybe I'm not feeling sorrow. It doesn't feel very honest. So what I've been
Yeah,
saying is my condolences.
Hmm.
And
yeah.
that gets me off the hook, that kind of thing. So,
That's the best I can figure out to do myself. Yeah. Or then again, you could do the Sally Field, and you like me.
yeah, I'd only do that with friends who've known me long enough to understand my sense of humor. No, I don't know.
I do like the way Mask film parodied that one.
Huh?
Oh, The Mask.
Yeah.
Which one what did they parody?
Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Well, I know, but I sorry, maybe it's just the weed, but I lost track of what we're talking about. What did it parody?
He parodied the
Sally
"You like
Field
me,
and
you
her
really like
Oscar
me" thing.
acceptance.
Oh, that. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Actually, I've been really hoping that my short term memory will get better the more I use it. Like playing Beat Saber, you can't just look at the blocks in front of you because you have no idea what's coming. So you have to look further ahead and trust your muscle memory to hit the right blocks when they get to you, even though you're not looking at them.
Hmm.
A lot of short term memory stuff. And I'm trying to play at least a half hour, if not an hour and a half of Beat Saber every day.
Okay.
So hopefully, because people talk about how the brain works like a muscle, that the more you use it, the better it gets. And
Yes,
sure,
absolutely.
I endured a fair amount of brain damage, and my short-term memory has turned to garbage. But hopefully, playing these games where I have to have short-term memory will help make it better again.
I
Yeah,
think you may be lucky enough, yeah, to where that does hold true, because that's the way the brain works. Period.
I often wonder how I'd be if I didn't start life off with brain damage.
Hmm.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Well, brain damage later in life might actually be worse, just because I didn't start out with that being normal. So I can remember what it was like when I had working memory. I remember
Yeah,
what life was like before all of the seizures happened, although thankfully those are gone, all of that stuff. But now it's like I I feel very different now after that. I mean, I think even my personality changed a little, but it's just so I look back on that time when I was more able, and I'm
yeah.
like, damn it. I'm like, this sucks because I liked being better back then. Damn it.
And that's the thing that, for whatever reason, has come to my mind more than once recently. Um, when I do get around to dying, I do not want to lose faculties little by little and know what I'm losing.
Mm.
That happened to my a grandfather.
What's that
Oh
one
no.
disease, ALS or something, where you just slowly paralyze? Or is that Huntington's? I don't know. ALS, it might be ASL, but I think that's American Sign Language. ALS is like I think your feet start to tingle or something, and then slowly you just can't move until you're sitting in your body and you're in a lot of pain and you can't mention it to anybody. Like you can't do anything.
Hmm.
I know
Right.
a guy who died of that, but fortunately I wasn't around to see it happen because I had moved to San Diego. I only found out about it when I went to visit Seattle, and I bumped into his friend that I think might have been his significant other, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Told me that Mark was dead from that disease. If it's ALS or ASL, I'm pretty sure it's ALS.
ALS.
But yeah, so he told me about it, but I wasn't around to even know that he had it. So I mean, is it selfish to be glad that I wasn't around to watch someone else's pain?
I am going to stick my neck out, and I am going to say no, not selfish.
Okay. Uh,
And think of me whatever you will, audience, but I do understand the feeling.
Well, there's some similar energy, like when Florida and Texas and all that started banning books, and they got really grouchy about that mouse comic, the one
Mm,
that's all about like Nazi Germany and shit.
right.
I'm, I'm sitting there going, you know what? I've already decided the Holocaust is bad, Nazis are shit, fascism is horrible, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with Jewish people, except for the sense of humor and the passive aggressiveness. Trust me, my mom's side is Jewish.
Mm,
But so it's like I don't need to read a graphic novel that may well be really graphic and might haunt me for the rest of my days to get its message.
right.
And,
Right.
and I know people will get on me like, yeah, but you're not looking at the full horrors of what happened inside the concentration camps. I'm like, dude, I want to make sure concentration camps never fucking happen. I don't need the gross, in every sense of the word, details. You
Yeah.
know, I can be against something without having to immerse myself in how gross it was.
Although one of the quotations that I find most significant is the one that was chiseled into a concentration camp
I
wall.
know where you're going.
Say again, huh?
I know where you're going.
Yeah. If there is a God, he will have to beg my forgiveness,
Yep.
by a inmate of
I,
the.
I've been seeing memes of that a lot on Twitter lately, like a lot. And
Yeah.
a lot of it is directed at, say, like Florida and Texas.
Mhm.
Where it's like, look, you guys are really starting to look like Nazi Germany.
Well, they're trying really hard.
Yeah. And
Mm.
the most ironic part, of course, is these are the people they call themselves the party of small government.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Small
But this
government.
is interesting. Bob uh, Beelzebub has put up. Has anyone else seen the movie God on Trial? I didn't even know there was one.
I haven't seen the
Sounds
movie yet.
familiar,
I've seen the clips.
I don't really know what it is, but it sounds Hitchensy, doesn't it?
Almost, yeah.
Just the title. But I mean, I vaguely think I've heard the title before, but not enough to say anything about it.
I've only seen clips online. I haven't seen the whole movie.
Hmm. Is it
But
Hitchensy?
Yeah, I guess.
Is he in it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it's just Hitchens esque then. Sure, fine. Okay.
oh, okay, okay. I think I didn't remember the title, but I think I've heard the plot.
Oh,
Let's
is it a narrative?
say again, hon.
Is it a narrative? I thought it was a documentary.
Well, let's see. Awaiting their inevitable deaths at one of the worst concentration camps, a group of Jews make a rabbinical court to decide whether God has gone against the Holy Covenant and if he is the one guilty for their suffering.
Hmm. Okay. Huh. I'll be honest, that's not what I pictured from the title.
Okay. Yes, so forgive me if you will, I didn't know what to call it. Yeah, I guess it's not a documentary. It sounds more like a narrative. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more of a narrative.
Have you seen? I've only seen the first one. God's Not Dead.
Oh, I've
The
seen
one
that one.
with Jercules, Kevin Sorbo himself.
Mm,
Yeah, God, that's garbage.
Yeah. Well, it plays into every theist view of what an atheist is trope there is.
Yes.
You're only angry at God and blah blah blah. You were hurt sometime, and and of course the deathbed conversion shit. It's so stupid. It's like they're just jerking each other off.
yeah, basically.
Oh my, it's they only as far as I'm concerned anyway. They only demonstrate how little they have when they use that stuff so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure how many of them actually believe it, how many of them were just fed the lines by the church, and how many of them know they're full of shit. They just think it's a way to bog down the conversation. I wonder what the proportions are of that, because I know what the cynical answer would be, but I want the real one.
Well, I tend to believe that the cynical answer might be the real one.
Well,
I don't
because
know.
I'm seeing the same behavior from everybody who qualifies as a bigot. They can't help but like no true Scotsman people to death and straw man the points and everything. They cannot deal with someone's argument on its own terms.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I think most people have just been fed the lines.
Hmm. Well, it's so difficult
Because
to break through. Like, have you ever had that conversation with someone, a theist, who actually has a slightly open mind where they've been fed all the lines and you tell them, no, 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 this is what an atheist is actually like. And they go, what? And actually,
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't happen often, but my gosh.
I've run into that with evolution.
Hmm. Oh my gosh, getting them to separate evolution and abiogenesis is such an uphill battle. Sisyphus is going, damn, dude.
yeah. Well, thank you, Skits. you get back to work and try not to suffer agony too much.
They just suffer agony the
Later.
right amount.
Yeah, and by the way, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, yeah, suffer used by itself doesn't mean anything.
Well,
It is a transitive verb.
I suppose, but if you turn to one of your enemies and go, "I expect you to suffer," that kind of thing. It's like, well, I may not have been specific, but clearly this person is not going to be having a good time.
Death by a thousand minor annoyances.
Something like that.
Yeah, because well, suffer is like Kleenex. It's a generic noun, really, but it's been given the meaning suffer agony.
Well, yeah. It
Because
took
suffer is
me, it
endure.
took me a really long time to understand what was meant. Like, I understood what was meant by "I don't suffer fools gladly." But it took me
Uh-huh.
a long time to parse why it meant that. Because I'm like, I'm not suffering them. I'm like giving them one hell of a hard time and kind of a little bit enjoying it because they deserve it, the rat bastards. So I'm not really suffering. It took me a while to really figure out what the hell they were getting at. It's sort of the same energy as figuring out that not every doctor is an MD. Like the first time you encounter someone they call themselves a doctor, you're like, but you're working in this lab. What the hell? You're looking in through that telescope. You're not a doctor. Or that engineers didn't just drive trains.
that's
Same kind of thing, just different.
that one was my baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, suffer fools gladly took some interpreting. Like I knew what people meant when they used it, but why does it mean that? I figured
Yeah.
out eventually, but whew.
Oh, I love language. I really do.
Mm,
And
then why do you mingle it so?
I was just about heading there, and I think I mangle it so because I love it so much.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, I guess I get that. I am a bit of a punster and a spoonerite, aren't I?
Hmm. There you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't do a lot of what the hell's it? Is it rebus where you just scramble the letters?
Oh, damn it. I
I think
have the word, but I cannot pull it up.
all right, rebus, a puzzle in which words are represented by Oh no, okay, combinations of pictures and individual letters. All right, okay, so it's not the one where you scramble the letters. Damn it. Okay.
Oh man. I'm going to be thinking about this all day now. Anacrostic? No, but it's an Anna something.
The Green
Anagram?
Gables.
Yeah, there you are.
I hated her so much. It was one of those things that my parents plunked me down in front of, and I was so bored because I wanted spaceships. And like, just like, okay, if I'm gonna watch a precocious girl, give me Pippi Longstocking, not freaking her. You know what I mean?
I remember
Yeah.
it being very boring as well.
Yeah, Anna Green Gable. It's like. Of course, it didn't help that I didn't know what a gable was, so it just sounded weird. But
Oh,
Pippi Longstocking looks like she's having a lot of fun. The Anne of Green Gables looks like she's just getting in everyone else's face. I,
oh, and by the way, it's anagram.
Thank you. Okay, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm not sure if I would have figured that out. My see, this is well, either it's because I'm stoned or it's just my memory issues getting in the way. But whatever it was, I don't think I would have thunk to that I would have had to Google search with very vague terms to find it because I don't think I would have remembered.
And I forget what is. I think I've seen the ultimate anagram, which is an anagram of anagram, but I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I like the
Love a
anagram
good
of.
palindrome, though.
Say again, hon?
I do love a good palindrome.
Oh yeah, I love palindromes.
The anagram of Donald Trump is Lord Danknuts.
I, well, like, is he capable of not embarrassing himself constantly?
I believe personally that he is incapable of not embarrassing himself because he doesn't know it when he does it.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's not like right there in the moment, like he'll do something and then Joe Biden will do something similar and his like cult goes bonkers over, ooh, Biden, shot down a Chinese balloon, but sure, only after it crossed over the United States, never mind that they had like jammed its frequencies and shit. But it turns out that Trump let three of those go by, did nothing, and hid it from the public.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like even he embarrasses himself with a slow burn constantly. Is he just like it's bizarre that anyone looks at him as someone to look up to?
yeah. That amazes me.
But I've seen some studies, and I think we all knew this, but it's been confirmed that most right wing politics is not about doing anything, it's about sticking it to the other side. Like
Right.
that's all it's about. And they like freely admit it that all they're doing is sticking it to the libs. They don't care about making the country better. It's just and I'm like, how can half of this country, or at least a little bit less, I'm sure, be,
About a third.
be such bullies? Like
Yeah.
how can that be who they are? It's bizarre to me that that's possible.
And yet, I mean, I'll say it again. You folks have heard me say this more than once. Back when Mitch McConnell um ordered the Republican members of the Senate to oppose whatever Democrats proposed or tried to do or whatever. It was when Obama was first elected,
Mm,
um, simply because he was Obama.
yeah. And I wonder how much of that was Democrat and how much of that was black dude. Oh my God, run around with your hair on fire.
What do you think?
Well,
Really?
actually, again, this is one of those things where I want to know what the proportion was. I mean, it might have been liberal, it might, which he was not. Don't get me started. Or it might have been black guy, or it could have been a combination of the two. And I'm just wondering what the proportions were. You can take it as read that whenever I say one of those statement like I wonder if it was this or that, or you can take it as I want to know the proportions if it was a combo. Just
Yeah.
you know, so we don't have to keep having that conversation.
Well, I'll tell you that with the old man's hatred, the male slimy bastard's hatred of anything not Republican. Oh, it was definitely the black guy.
Well, but hatred of anything not Republican could also mean Democrat, can't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, he hated the Democrats.
So which one or how much of each was it? How much of it was I hate Democrats and how much of it was racism?
I'm willing to say that it was 99.997% racism.
Okay.
I mean,
It's so weird to me the way people treat race.
yeah, it is. I don't know how I turned out the way I did. because it was not for lack of trying on the part of my so-called family. And I can look back and I can see myself heading in that direction. And something turned me around, and I don't know what it was, but I am so grateful that it did.
Well, I was raised in Bernie Sanders land by hippies, so I mean, it was pretty inevitable that I was going to be left wing, progressive, all of that. I mean, I suppose I could have rebelled, but I also sort of gave a damn about fairness, and let's face it, the other side doesn't. So it was pretty inevitable I'd end up a left wing progressive.
Yeah, I was raised by hippies as well.
Yeah.
I was raised by the greatest generation. Oh, God.
Well, I don't know. Like,
Oh,
okay, this is one of the things that bugs the hell out of me.
We have a stool in the chat.
we sure do.
It just seems so weird that there are people who are definitely not racist, who are against racism big time, and yet they're also such like culture or ethnicity purists too, where it's like we're against racism, but don't you dare do the same things as this minority.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how can you possibly be egalitarian without being okay with cultural contamination or cultural, what's the word I'm looking for, appropriation?
Yeah, right.
Because if you're saying that over there is hands off to you because you happen to be fill in the blank or happen to not be fill in the blank,
Yeah.
well, what's like how can that be okay? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me that someone who is against racism can be for that.
Yeah. Yet there it is.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just baptize baby Jesus until the bubbles stop.
And here's another thing is like I am so multiracial, multi-ethnic, whatever you want to call it. What do I belong to? Am I allowed to take up some of the customs of ethnicity, race, whatever, where I happen to be genetically close to them? Or because my skin is lighter than that, or whatever it is, am I
Yeah.
not allowed just by virtue of how I appear to you? Or am I completely allowed because of my genetic or what is it? Because I clearly don't belong to any one culture, ethnicity, anything. But I've had people get really grouchy at me and call it cultural appropriation if I adopt some affect or whatever.
Well,
All of a sudden I'm an asshole. How does this work?
you cannot exist without culturally appropriating. I mean, really.
Yeah, I mean, do I belong by virtue of my genetics or not?
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. People insist I'm not a person of culture just because I was raised by white people, or a person of color just because I was raised by white people. I'm like, yes, but look how much darker I was than all of my classmates except for the kid from India.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's usually it.
I mean, seriously, like everyone is gatekeeping my membership to things to which I have a genetic connection. It's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hate being an outsider. I like being unique. I hate being an outsider. What can you do?
Mm.
Well, Bloggerty, I'm with you on that one. Bloggerty says, I don't think America was ready for Bernie. And I agree, more or less. I don't know that America will be ready for.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Because it seems there was a lot of fuckery going on behind the scenes to keep him out.
There was.
Yeah.
The voters were ready, but the party was not.
Well, there were a lot of people I heard speak in the sense of, no, he's the wrong guy.
Yeah, but I only heard that after like Joe Biden floated to the top.
Yeah, that was a lot of media influence there.
Yeah. So many like Biden's primary campaign was run on the idea, no, so much more electable. Like electable was anything like I'll be better for you once I'm in office. It's so much
Right.
more that people absorbed the notion that Bernie wasn't electable because that's what they were told.
You were force fed that like 24/7.
Yes. It just it wasn't right. It wasn't okay. But what you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, I like, okay, I'm sure a lot of people will insist that I qualify as a sheep in some way, shape, or form, but my gosh, I hate sheeple.
Yeah.
Easily led sons of bitches who can't have their minds changed once they've dug their heels in. I mean, I know that my mind can be changed when I'm pointed to actual facts and evidence. But there are so many people who try to make like appeals to emotion and then insist I'm closed minded.
Hmm.
You know? It's so frustrating. It really is.
I mean, it may be a little difficult to dislodge you from a position. I know it is me. It takes a hell of a lot to dislodge me, but I think
Well,
both of us we can be.
Well, that's the thing is it doesn't take a lot, but it does take a lot to direct the people who are trying to change my mind toward the kind of thing that would.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like trying to tell a theist, you can convince me a God is real. You just have to do it this way, i.e., checkable, demonstrable, verifiable, blind testable evidence.
Hmm.
And getting them to get to the point where they will address that is like yanking teeth, and they insist I'm closed minded when I insist on the kind of thing that a scientist would insist upon.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
insist, I'm sorry, you have to make faith a non issue, they're like, well, that's cheating. You're just closed minded. And I'm like, no. And even when it's not atheism versus theism, getting people to accept that I will only accept proof in a certain form, it's impossible a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not insisting on anything that's truly limiting. I mean, insisting on empirical, objective, testable evidence is not unreasonable, people. But I get treated as unreasonable when I insist upon it. Oh, look, Kate's mind can't be changed. Fuck off.
Yeah. Um, Especially when you consider that faith is the exact opposite of reason. Really, it is.
Uh, it's just so frustrating to be treated as unreasonable when I'm the only reasonable voice in the room. Where I'm like, oh, God did X, Y, or Z to the earth. Fucking prove it, dude. Citation needed. Oh my gosh, how closed minded am I? This
Yeah.
kind of thing constantly where I'm like, I'm the only reasonable person in the room, but everybody thinks I have to accept like an appeal to emotion or whatever as an argument, and I won't. But somehow I'm the unreasonable one. It's not okay and it's not right.
What really pisses me off is people deciding that you are unreasonable simply by you're stating that you are reasonable. It's
Mm. But like you're so full of yourself.
yes, thank you. I was looking for a way to phrase that.
Not been there, done that, got the photo.
Oh my. Okay, wait.
Commemorative mug.
Got to see where is all this. Got to put this stuff away here.
Columbia
I
wants
still got.
their head rubbed in a very specific way that unfortunately is made awkward by the arms of the chair.
Uh oh.
Yeah, well, we're compromising.
Okay, so now I can move this around a little bit. Yay! And I can move myself back around a little bit.
So I know that this is going to sound a little hypocritical because I'm not one of those people who needs quote unquote the experience. Like I can watch a movie at home and feel perfectly fine about it. I could watch sports on TV because I don't need, the smell of hot dogs or whatever. But
Okay.
one thing I sincerely do miss is the smell of like a 1980s computer store or software store.
Mm.
There's something different about it that GameStop can't capture, that Best Buy can't capture. And I don't know what it is, but it was a little bit like the smell of dust. Or maybe it was the smell of computer fans. I don't know. But there's
Okay.
something about it that I miss that's purely olfactory.
I can understand that because I dearly love the smell of the book stops or book stacks in a library.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need it. Obviously, I'll shop at a store or I'll buy stuff on Steam or whatever. But
Okay, yeah.
there's just something about the smell of like a Babbage's or Electronics Boutique, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually miss that stuff. Not necessarily simply a Babbage's, but I do miss the arrangement, for example, of what's the other one? Not the B. Dalton, the other bookstore, the
The
one that was
Walden
actually
books?
good. Say again?
Walden books?
Um, Not Walden. I don't know if they live inside. I don't know if Starbucks lives inside those places. There,
Oh, God. I was just at one of those, like in October.
what?
Barnes and Noble.
Say again?
Barnes and Noble.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, yeah, I went there. They didn't have what I was looking for, the bastards.
I tell you, I do bemoan their complete reworking of themselves.
Hmm. Well, I mean, unless it's independent somehow, you can't really go to a bookstore and buy your book anymore. Like so many of them have said, yeah, our selection is limited to the bestsellers. If you want something that was, written a couple of years ago or maybe didn't win too many awards, you're gonna have to get it online. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
On order online, wait for delivery now. It's like so rare to find what you're actually looking for.
Honestly, very rarely do I actually like the stuff that I see in the bestseller list anyway.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like having won now a film festival award, I'm starting to think all of those laurels and whatever I'm looking for, awards and stuff, I think they're pretty shallow, actually. I don't know how
Yeah.
they're judged, but if it's anything like that film festival, I feel like it's what the hell is that?
Oh, that's my virtual nurse ringing me up.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I'd say they're shallow.
yeah.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I'm on air, but if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll just check on you real quick and then I'll get out of your way.
Okay.
You good? You don't need anything right now?
Nope, can't think of anything.
All right.
The blood of her
Take
enemies.
care, hon.
She needs the blood of her enemies.
Oh, Bush and boy.
But yeah, it's like what the hell were we talking about?
What?
That might have been a perfect time to request as the head of William Shatner.
That's true. But no, before the virtual nurse, we were talking about something that was
We were
actually.
talking about B. Dalton,
Oh, it's Barnes and Noble, right?
Barnes and Noble.
And
That's it.
how, like, seriously, I wish I could find some of the stuff that I want to buy in a brick and mortar store instead of, oh yeah, you should have ordered it 3 days ago because you're gonna have to wait, bitch. You know.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
And Amazon does not do next or same day delivery to Vermont.
Oh man, because the thing I really miss about um, oh hell, what was Barnes and Noble? that I cannot get online. Well, it's more difficult for me to get online. Is walking up and down the aisles and just something catches your eye and you say, "Oh, look at that, mine."
Yeah.
Browsing.
I've done that. Yeah.
I remember spending about, well, I mean, it felt similar to picking a breakfast cereal because my gosh, that's a commitment. But I remember looking through the sci-fi fantasy sections of all of those stores, and reading, pulling a book out, reading the back of it, putting it back or holding it in my hand for later, in case, just in case I didn't find anything better. That kind of shut up back there. But like all of that stuff where I didn't know is, but maybe something would grab me, and there were so many times where I found an author I'd never read before and have like kept buying their books ever since, just that way. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not the same on Amazon.
right.
Well, and I mean, it's not the experience. It's just they don't organize themselves in a way that makes it as easy to get the info about whether I'll like a book.
Yeah, right.
It's just the layout, the UI gets in the way. Yeah,
Uh,
like I should not have to click more to read what's on the back of a book.
yeah.
That kind of thing.
And the sad thing is, personally, I don't think we're ever going to get back, or we're ever going to reclaim the brick and mortar. I hate the word experience as well, but
Well,
because
the convenience of it. I mean, it was just the mechanics of it. It's not even, oh, I need the scent of this, that, or the other thing. It's just a matter of how much easier it was to browse. Where it's like, if I don't want to lose my place on the shelf, so to speak, when I'm on the web, I have to keep opening new tabs so that I can later surf back to the page I was on where it was a lot of sci-fi fantasy stuff, or whatever topic you're looking up. And then the organization of it, you can't just look at the spines of books. You're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you get maybe 2 or 3 books per page. It's just not the same. It's
yeah,
not, it's not as
Yeah.
convenient. It's not as intuitive. It's like, dude,
yeah, yeah,
it's just harder to do it. That's all.
and it costs more to do it brick and mortar.
I guess. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, uh, it costs more to build a store and stock
I
its
know.
shelves. Say again?
Well, I wasn't sure if you meant more for the customer or more for the business owner. So you never.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the vendor is investing a lot more copex
Mm,
to put up a store and stock its shelves rather than just wire up another server.
yeah. Although I mean, delivering books to people, like physical books to people, can't be cheap. But I mean, granted, I use a Kindle pretty much exclusively now, but still.
Well, eventually, I admit, even I admit, eventually, physical books in physical hands with physical eyes, reading physical words on the physical pages are going to disappear.
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, for me at least, I'm pretty much done with, wood pulp versions of books. Number one, I've moved too many times, and it's just so expensive to haul them around.
Yeah,
But
I admit that's true. Yep.
number two, I hate how after a while it gets really finger crampy holding a book open all the time. Number three, I love the fact that if I come across a word I don't know, I can just put my finger on it and get the definition. That is so goddamn convenient, you have no idea.
Oh, I do have an idea because I've made use of that myself,
So I
and I
mean,
really like it.
I like, granted, sure, Kindle will run out of power, or maybe books won't be available for it somewhere. I can't just go to a used place. Actually, yes, I can. It's called pirating. I mean, like I cannot go back to wood pulp books. I just cannot go back to them. They're too heavy. They're too unwieldy. They take up too much space. And I can't carry them all with me on a trip. If I get a sudden whim to read this, that, or the other series, and I happen to be like on the other side of the globe, my Kindle will let me. My paper books won't.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, to the people out there who poo-poo the Kindle, I think you're just, basically dinosaurs at this point.
Well, I'm a dinosaur. If birds can exist and be dinosaurs, then so can I.
Yeah, well, I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
Is, it's very possible to get stuck in the past. And I've said this before, you've heard it many times. I feel like mine is one of the first generations to really be the sort to adapt to the times rather than get stuck in the past.
Well, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Definitely.
Well, because our childhood was both analog and digital. We were among the first generation to grow up changing from one to the other.
Yeah.
And I think that affected everything. I mean, I watch people from my generation who listen to today's music without a scrap of irony or self-awareness. Where a lot of generations will get like, well, I only like the music that was playing when I was 20. I mean, even me, the stuck in the 80s kid, listens to a lot of today's music too. Did I
Okay.
ever fall asleep? Oh, so I mean, it's like, I feel like my
Say again,
generation
huh?
is going first to
Yeah.
adapt.
Okay.
Uh,
I just wanted to do your assessment. It's Dan.
okay. Um,
So how long should I wait to come back?
well, this is why I'm thinking. We've got somebody here to do an assessment on me. Why don't we cut this short? And if you want to stay on, do that, and I can
No, I
come
can come
back.
back in 5 minutes. How about that?
Yeah,
Right outside?
5 minutes.
Yeah. Would that be good enough for you?
Good enough.
Yeah, well, since we're cutting this short, I'll stay right on. I was gonna go get myself a snack anyway, and
So are they
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
like?
because I can drop off for a while and come back.
So are they gonna like stuff tubes up ya or something? What's going on here?
Um, wait a minute. What's this again?
I said, are they gonna be stuffing tubes up you or what?
Yeah, well, no tubes or anything, but I will probably wish they would by the time they're finished.
Maybe we're thinking of different kinds of tubes.
There too. But
Maybe it would be better if I described it as a hose.
okay, yeah, there you are.
Uh,
No, this is this.
Colonoscopy,
Yeah, but I'll drop off for a little while, kids, and I will be back. Um,
So are you saying that like me and Mage are sticking around until you're back, or are you saying the show's over?
well, if you want to keep it, if you want to keep it going, I'll keep it going.
well, like I said, I wanted to go get something to eat.
Yeah, I'm starting to get hungry too. Maybe it's time to
Oh,
stop. The
okay.
only
Then we can, no, then we can just
reason I
put it
want to keep going is this.
and then we can just put it aside.
She's just gotten quite comfy on the old lap. It's the only reason I would want to keep going right now because I am quite hungry.
Oh, yeah, because we've been on what 80 minutes.
Hmm.
So
I
I'll
mean,
tell you
we've
what.
gone 5 hours before, but
Yeah, there you go. But I'll tell you what, kids. Yeah, the way it's sounding here. Then I'll thank everybody who's here, and I'll thank everybody who's not here, and I'll tell you, you guys keep me going, but I hate you for it.
I'll say
Everybody have
again,
fun.
entertainer.
And I am very much appreciative of all of you. I am. Um, even those of you who don't throw money at me.
Mm. Yeah,
Oh,
if I decide to throw money at you, it'll be a gold bar.
there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Okay, well, take care, everybody. And what shall I say? But thanks a lot, troops.
May the force be with you.
Yep. See you on the other side.
Later.
There we go. Come on. There it goes.